Good afternoon, constellations of stars.
Especially to our senior high school learners who are with us in our FB Live.
Welcome to Astral Academy Cyber School. We are still live in the Pedayo Tanggob and Astral Academy FB page.
I am Ma'am Shermay S. Epong from Tanggob City National High School.
And I am Ma'am Siti Badria Datodakula, also from Tanggob City National High School.
And we are your teacher facilitators today. Maayong hapon, Ma'am Bads.
Assalamualaikum, Ma'am Sherry. Good afternoon. Today is March 2, 2022. We will be discussing two subjects this afternoon. The first subject is Discipline and Ideas in Applied Social Sciences.
And the second subject is Community Engagement, Solidarity, and Citizenship.
For Discipline and Ideas, Applied Social Sciences, Week 4, Competency, describe the clientele of counseling and illustrate the different processes and methods in involved counseling.
Okay, yes, ma'am. No, so we will be talking about the different clienteles, no, or of counseling and the processes, ma'am, no.
Yes.
So with that, learners, no, stay tuned and prepare your self-learning materials because we are going to discuss our first subject today after a short break. This is Astral Academy Cyber School. And we are back, still in Astral Academy Cyber School.
Okay, Ma'am Sherry. So, as what I've said, that our competency for this week is describe the clientele of counseling and illustrate the different process of methods involved in counseling.
Okay, yes, thank you, Ma'am Bads, no, for introducing the competency for this week's subject nga diya. So, Ma'am Bads, no, I'm sure at the end of our discussion, ang atong mga estudyante, no, makabalo na sila. Unsaon pag-describe, no, pag-describe sa mga clients of counseling and kabalo na pud sila on how to illustrate the different processes and methods, no, involved in counseling.
Okay, so let us start with the clientele and audiences of counseling. Okay, so counseling profession come from different settings. Counselors deal with a mixture of people with different concerns and issues. Through the years, special counseling populations have evolved. The special clientele has been given increasing attention by the counseling profession due to frequent occurrence and growing number of clients.
Okay, yes, no. The special counseling, ma'am, na atay itawag na special counseling population.
Yes.
It is actually composed of people who abuse drugs, no, people who use tobacco, women, older adults, no, people with AIDS or those AIDS victims of abuse, gay men, lesbian women, and people with disabilities. So, mao ning gitawag natong special counseling population. So, naatay ihatag nga illustration, no, about this so-called special counseling population.
Yes, unang example dyan is people who abuse drugs. Yes, so in our society, there are increasing drugs users. Drug abuse is not just harmful to our physical health, but to our mental health as well. It cannot be denied that drug addiction creates more special problems and contribute to social disintegration. Consequently, more youth victims are for help and seek for counselors' attentions. So, nanginanglan sila og attention sa atong counselors, yung mga taong they abuse drugs.
Okay, so another special, no? Special population nga tong gitawag, ma'am, is kaning mga tawo nga naggamit og sigarilyo, no? People who
Yes.
use tobacco. Slowly, our population recognizes the bad effects, no, of tobacco to our health. Of course, pila man ka thousand nga chemicals ang naa sa isa ka sigarilyo, sa isa ka stick, no. However, many people still use and continue to use tobacco even if it is deadly, no, maski makadaot, makamatay kung baga, no, but still nagamit gyapon. Users find it difficult to stop smoking. Mao nang gitawag nato nga addicted na sila, no, sa pag-smoke. Hence, smoker who desire to quit tobacco were added to the list of the counselors' audiences. So, na-appeal sila sa gitawag natong counselors' audiences.
Okay, another one is people who abuse alcohol. Alcoholism, ika nga nila. So it's seen as disease and alcoholics find it difficult to stop drinking on their own. This requires help from professional as it requires appropriate treatment. However, an equal important paradigm is to look at alcoholism as weakness of self-control and self-discipline. So therefore, this requires intervention and other than treatment. Yes.
Okay, so that is alcohol, ma'am, no?
Yes.
Aside from that, ma'am, we also have women, no?
Yes.
Even with the changing role of women in society, so karon na magkuan ra bata, mag-celebrate ra bata Women's Month, no? Kay
Yes,
March. So we still have women predominantly control, no? Especially in purchasing, no?
Yes.
Decision making power. So most men still have less participation
Yes.
sa panimalay, no, in household responsibilities and child care. So in this case, women's advancement is constrained, no. What complicates this situation is that women's perception about themselves and the society's expectations. Counselors are responsible in helping women appreciate their own values, abilities, aptitudes, interests, and utilize this to develop their full potential. So, ang purpose ani para sa mga babayi nga mawad-an na bitaw ma-demoralize sila,
Yes.
ma'am. So, tabangan sila sa atong counselor para ma-uplift pud ang ilaang moral, no?
Yes. Okay, so another one is our older adults, of course. So nanginanglan pod ni sila. Yes. The aging population is increasing, rising, and demands more attentions. So retirees who are adjusting to life outside work feel lost and ignored. So life them suddenly loses meaning at transition from a busy life to retirement stage. So tungod sa kanang they are retired, parang feeling nila parang mahirap sila
Yes.
maka-move on pa kasi they are
Na-use sila sa ilang mga trabaho.
trabaho. Yes, so nanginanglan ni sila og attention pod sa atong counselors. Oh.
Okay, so aside from the older adults, we also have those people with kaning gitawag natong sakit nga AIDS, ma'am.
Yes.
No? So or gitawag natong acquired immune deficiency syndrome, no? So has been labeled also as the most feared disease due to its incurability. So gikahadlukan kung baga kay tungod kay walay tambal,
tambal.
dili ma-cure, no? So victims of this disease are seeking help to improve their quality of life and to handle their emotional stress and low self-esteem. So counseling approach requires sensitivity and appreciation of the intricacies of the disease. So counselors may also help in assisting and educating the victim support system. So kinsa maning support system, of course, ang number one is ang pamilya.
Yes.
No? So usa pud na sa gilantaw sa atong mga counselors, not just the victim of AIDS, apil pud ang pamilya.
Okay, so another one is victims abuse. So this population represents victims of domestic violence characterized by spouse and child abuses. Spouse is often associated with poverty, drug abuse, and career disappointments. The abuse has also become rampant and has caused psychological damage to the victims. So, mauni sila ang mga pwede, yung mga
Biktima.
battered wife,
Yes.
'di ba? Sila yung mga batang
Kanang ginaabuso.
inaabuso, mauni sila ang mga victim. At saka yung may, for example, yung mga alcoholism, di ba?
Yes.
Yung asawa, ganyan. So, because of that, mahitabo ang abuse,
Yes.
pag-abuse sa
It
kanila.
can be physical, psychological,
psychological.
no? So mapunta na dayon siya sa gitawag natong voucher,
Voucher,
no? Nga
yes.
ang gobyerno na ay gihatag nga programa para lang yun
To protect them from
and
abuse.
ma-address pud ang unsa may na resulta ana nga problema.
Yes.
So mao na ni ang counseling, no?
Yes.
Okay, we also have gay men and lesbian women. So katuning members sa atong gitawag na LGBTQ,
Yes.
no? So there is a growing number, no, of gays and lesbians that are coming out, no? Kay nagkadaghan kung baga. So however, there are still sectors in the society, including their own families, no, that avoid and discriminate them. Okay.
Yes.
And
So, dapat ang atong mga lesbian, dapat they should be respected. They should be
Yes.
treated fairly.
okay,
Walang
usaman gud sa problema, ma'am, kay ang pamilya mismo
ang discriminate
yes,
sa ilaha.
dili makadawat. So
Which is dapat tanggapin sila,
yes.
di ba?
So usa na siya sa mga audience, kumbaga special audience sa
Ang
counseling.
clients of our counselors.
Yes.
Okay, tabangan na sila.
Yes.
Okay. So let's proceed to methods in counseling. So number 1 is the classic theories.
Okay.
The psychological theories developed by Sigmund Freud and Alfred Adler and Carl Jung are considered as the classic schools for the reasons that they prime the underpinning of clinical practice. So, see, Freud is a psychoanalytic theory. He developed the psychoanalytical theory. The approach of Freud in counseling and psychotherapy, popularly known as the psychoanalysis, which is an analysis of the mind, and its objective is to restructure the personality by resolution of the interpsychic conflict,
Yes.
which focuses on the internal forces such as unconscious processes. So that is a Freud theory.
Katong
Yes.
psychoanalytical theory, no?
Yes.
Okay, so according to Nistel, a psychoanalytic counselor may utilize the following methods, ma'am. So, naatay gi-present nga method dira nga makita pod sa screen, no? So, first, naatay gitawag na free association. That is the
Yes.
method or the technique. So, unsa maning free association? So, it is a method to encourage the patient to discuss whatever comes to his mind in order to release suppressed emotion. So, the free association, again, gina-encourage ang atong mga clients, no? Nga i-discuss kung unsay na sa ilang hunahuna, no? Para kung unsay iyang gitaguan dito,
I-share nila.
Yes, mapagawas.
Yes.
Okay?
So we have a dream analysis, a method to explore unconscious processes using dreams, of course. So they are given a chance to share their dreams, yung mga previews
Yes.
na unsa ilahang mga
Dream or katong
Dream.
mga gidamgo.
gidamgo nila sa
Why not?
life. Yes, so gitagaan sila og chance nga ila nang i-open pod.
Then para i-analyze.
para ma-analyze kung unsa kanang ilang dreams man god is ma-relate sa ilahang personality. Yes.
Okay, we also have confrontation and clarification. It is a form of feedback procedure for patients to become aware of what is happening, no, to him or her, and to determine or also the areas for further analysis. So confrontation and clarification.
Okay, so we also have interpretation. So a process of giving insights to the patients about their inner conflicts, which can be reflected in resistance transference, and other processes.
Okay, so that is, ma'am, no? And then that is for the,
Other from classic methods.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have Adler individual psychology
Yes.
approach, ma'am. Unsa man ni kang Adler, ma'am?
Okay, so Adler in counseling is psychotherapy focuses on the role of recognition. So si Adler is focus on psychotherapy. Its objective is to gain an understanding of the clients and assess by clients behave and think in certain ways. Counselors use certain techniques to help clients reorient themselves toward positive functioning. So, mao to ang psychotherapy. They are helping the clients to reorientation, kumbaga.
Yes. So naay gitawag na Adlerian counseling, no?
Yes.
So nag-focus siya sa upat ka goal.
Psychotherapy.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So aside from that, ma'am, we also have yung analytic psychology, no? So mao ni ang gi-advocate kumbaga ni Carl Gustav Jung, no?
Jung.
So the counseling and psychology approach of Jung is referred to as psychotherapy. No?
Okay.
So Jung's approach highlights the task of the unconscious process in psychological functioning. So unconscious processes, no? So naaputay experimental theories, which is of course introduced to us by Rogers, no? So Rogers' person-centered counseling or the person-centered theory has been described as if-then, no, approach, because this approach considers that if certain condition exist, no, in the counseling relationship, so kung nag-exist ang usa ka condition, then the client will move toward self-actualization. So i-actualize niya. Okay, so we also have Pearl's Gestalt therapy. So unsa man ni siya nga counseling approach? It focuses on the here and now. Kung kang Jung ganiha, if and then.
Oh, yes.
Okay, we also have the here and now, no? So it refers to the therapist and the client wherein si client experiences from the inside, no? So what the therapist observes from the outside. Okay, so wherein the client's experiences from the inside and what the therapist observed from the outside. So as cited by Tisol, the goal of the approach is awareness, no, awareness on the environment of responsibility for choices of self and self-acceptance. So, kani siya nga approach, ma'am, is appropriate gyud ni siya labi na sa mga tawo nga kulang og awareness sa ilaang kaugalingon or katong naigitawag natong feeling of out of touch siya sa iyang kaugalingon or sa realidad.
Oh, yes, ma'am. So, okay. So, cognitive behavioral theory is the cognitive behavioral theories highlight the task of cognition of psychological functioning. So it includes the following: ALIS, a rational emotive behavior therapy. So the rational emotive behavior theory highlight the role of conditions and emotions with assertion and the persons can be appreciated in terms of internal cognitive dialogue or self-talk. Views that emotional disorders is associated with cognitive processes that are not rational. So we have Bick's cognitive theory. Cognitive theory highlights the vitality of cognitive thinking, particularly dysfunctional thoughts. This counseling approach is appropriate for people suffering from depression and anxieties. Okay. So,
okay, we also have Burns transactional analysis, ma'am, no? So, unsa maning Burns transactional analysis. Okay, so the transactional analysis approach, unsa ni siya, ma'am, refers
it
to
refers to examining and dissecting transaction between
the clients
and the counselors.
Okay,
Yes.
so that is for the different advocates.
Different theories.
Yes.
With the classic theories And
Yes, nga nagpakita pod sa kung baga process, ma'am, no? So,
Yes.
more discussions when we return. This is Astral Academy Cyber School. And we are back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. Okay, yes, Ma'am Bads, no? So that is for week 4, no, sa Diaz. And then we will proceed to the activity. Okay, so learners, naana sa inyo ang SLM, no, naatay activity number 4. Okay, sa inyong activity, you have to choose one among the identified counseling clientele, no? Draw a face that describes the types of clients. So, aside from that, number 2, illustrate or draw the work setting of a counselor with their clients. So, that is your activity in the
Discipline and ideas in applied social sciences.
Okay, so let's proceed now to our second subject, Ma'am Buds, no?
Yes.
So again, naanata sa quarter 1, week 4, no? Sorry, okay? So again, welcome learners, 4th week na for this semester, no?
Sa atong
In community
engagement, solidarity,
and citizenship. So, for this week's competency, ma'am, is differentiate typologies of communities.
Okay, Ma'am Sherry. So, having learned about the elements of community that make it unique through its structures, dynamics, and processes. So it is now time to further develop the understanding of the community by expounding its typologies or classification. Aside from understanding the complexity within the community, you also need to recognize the diversities of communities. Groups and collectives that belongs to distinct typologies prove the complexity of social networks and interactions.
Yes, exactly, Ma'am Buds. No, again, ang atong competency has something to do with the difference, no, between the different typologies of community. So, awareness and appreciation of the different types of communities help learners, researchers, not just learners, no, appeal si researchers and agents of social change to focus, no, and deepen their analysis of a particular community. So, this guide them in identifying which particular community matches their research interest or political advocacy. Yes, Ma'am Bad. So, that is for our week for competency.
So, okay, Ma'am Sherry. So,
let's start, Ma'am. Let's start with defining, no? Defining first. Kaning gitawag natong term na community.
Okay.
Since maghisgot man taani sa different typologies of community. So para ma-compare nato, no, ang mga unique characteristics and dynamics
of
sa usa ka community. So, unsa man ning community, Ma'am Bads?
So, yes, a community refers to a group of people who occupy a common contiguous territory, possess of a common set of traditions associated with their living together in the territory, and served by a set of local institutions in which the people are conscious of their common interest. So, the community, we have these typologies of community.
Yes.
So, okay.
Unsa man ning mga typologies, no? So that is community, common interest na ay mga tao, ma'am.
Group of people
with common interest. So naaputay typologies of community. So these are actually different categories, no, of community. In order to classify communities, we need to take a lot of considerations. So, unsa man nga mga considerations? Apil na ana ang location, number of people living in that community or kanang gitawag natong population kung baga, occupation of people, and the services offered among others. So, in this lesson, kani nga competency, we will learn typologies of community. So, unsa man nga typologies, we have the rural-urban and the physical space, virtual space.
Okay, so the first typology is the rural-urban.
Yes.
So when we say rural-urban, it is a community or areas that are located in countryside. You will see farmland, rice fields or agricultural lands. You can also raise livestock such as chicken, pigs, and cows. The houses are far from each other. So mauni ang gitawag na rural. Yan yung sa bukid,
Yes.
no? Parang peaceful kaayo ang life dira. And the lifestyle of the people in the rural areas is simple. There is a sense of unity. Yes, because sense of unity because most of the people are farmers. Their everyday needs such as rice and viand can be addressed by their harvest of farms and backyards. But one of the concern of people in rural areas is the natural calamities that may strike their farmland any time of the year. So, in addition, access to market, schools, and health center is a big problem for it. So, it requires a long walk, di ba? Kasi medyo malayo sa kanila ang ating schools, mga health centers, okay? And at saka yung form of transportation, sometimes hindi sila ma-reach ng mga sasakyan. Kailangan pa nilang sumakay ng pwede horse or mga, di ba? Yan yung sa makikita natin sa bukid. Okay.
Okay, so that is the rural communities,
communities.
ma'am. So, aside from that, naputay gitawag na urban communities, ma'am.
Yes.
Opposite siya sa
Sa rural.
rural. Kay kung ang rural, mao ni gitawag na tunaag yun sa probinsya or kinabuhi sa probinsya. No? So, urban communities are located actually in the city. Okay? So, since it is a city, there are not much open spaces in land areas. So, gamay ra kaayo ang open spaces, mao na makita nato nga puno gyud siya og mga building, no? So, the land areas are for high-rise buildings, business establishment, factories, housing, and other infrastructures. They said infrastructures are near each other, no?
Yes.
So,
They're not like in rural.
nga
The
lagyo
houses are
kaayo.
far from each other.
yes,
Pero
dagang
diri-
bakante nga mga yuta. Pero
yes.
dira sa syudad, nakatipunog yun kung baga ang mga buildings, no? So, high-rise buildings, mga factories, no? There is an immediate access to different services. Unlike sa rural. Nga, dira pod mo differ,
You
no?
have to
Kay,
walk away.
yes. Ang healthcare, no? Education. Mo baklay pa kag pila ka barangay ay ha ka maka
Abot sa
abot
health
sa
center.
eskwelahan, pero
Eskwelahan.
or sa health center or sa hospital. Pero kung naa ka sa syudad, okay, ang transportation, ang access nimo
Accessible
dali ra, no? Kaning gitawag natong accessibility. So dira pod mo differ si urban og si rural. Job opportunities. So kung atong lantawon ang mga kinabuhi sa probinsya, mostly sa farming.
Yes.
Pero diri pug ka sa syudad, mostly ang trabaho, ang occupation is naa sa, it can be blue collar or white collar job, no?
Yes.
So naa sa mga factories or naa sa mga offices, okay? So there are many people living in urban areas also. So mo differ pud siya sa population.
Yes.
Mao ni atong gihisgutan ganiha nga ang rural gamay ra kaayog mga dili pud ingon nga gamay gyud kaayo but then pipila lang ang mga tao unlike kung i-compare nimo sa urban. So because of the good number of people living in urban areas, kay tungod daghan man ang tao sa urban areas, space and resources also are limited. No, gamay lang ang space. People choose to live in congested spaces. Mo nang kasagara mo puyo ani mga condo, no, condominium, mga apartment.
Yung katabi mo sa door 1 or door 2, parang walang unity.
Yes.
Parang pwedeng hindi mo siya kilala. Not like sa rural.
Yes.
Kahit malayo, may unity pa rin.
Yes. Nga
no?
ingon nato nga silingan
Silingan
nimo.
na, oh, yes.
Silingan nimo og apartment, silingan nimo og condominium pero wala mo magkailap.
Hindi kayo close.
Yes.
Yes.
Pero naaputay mga namuyo dito nga silingang barangay, labi
Pero-
na sa rural area or kaning
Yes.
gitawag natong probinsya nga kaila pud nimo,
Yes.
kaila kaayo mo, no? So traffic is one of the issues also of the people living in
the
urban
urban.
areas. Kay daghan mang sakyanan, unlike sa bukid, ang sakyan mga
Kabayo.
kabayo, no, mga
Motor.
kuan lang, domesticated animals, no, ang
Yes.
atong makitaan nga pwede masakyan. Okay, so that is for urban communities, ma'am.
Okay, so another typology is physical virtual space. So in physical space refers to unlimited three-dimensional expanses in which material objects are located. So parang lahat ng bagay is tangible.
Yes.
Pwede natin mahawakan yung mga nakikita natin. Itong normal na community like
Yes.
karon,
Physically.
Physically.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay, so on the other hand also, ma'am, we also have this so-called virtual social space. So, kaning virtual space refers to non-physical space. Opposite siya sa
Sa physical.
physical. So, created by the development of technology. So, nowadays, with the advancement of information and communication technology, the concept of community went beyond the so-called physical limitations. So, we have a virtual community where a group of people communicate and interact with each other. So through the use of IT or information technology. So they can build relationships and form groups online or in social media in just a matter of one click. Today, people share their interests, ideas, opinions, and whereabouts through the use of technology. Especially karon uso kaayo no nga naatay mga group chat.
Yes.
No? So naatay mga or magklase ta virtual nga classroom.
So that
naatay
is
MS
virtual
Teams.
space.
Yes, that is
community.
virtual or social space.
Okay, so I think Ma'am Sherry, our learners are they are now they can now differentiate the typologies of communities.
Yes.
Diba?
Yes, Ma'am Bads, no? So they can compare na, no? They can compare and contrast
The
the
different
typologies of
communities.
communities. So the rural and urban communities, unsay kalahian ni rural ug ni urban,
Yes.
ug unsay kalahian ni
Physical
physical and
and
virtual communities.
Okay, so learners, please store your self-learning materials for your activity 4.
Okay, yes, ma'am. No, so for this week, learners, you need to fill in the Venn diagram. No, so write the similarities, as shown in the screen. Write the similarities and differences of the following typologies nga gibutang dira. Natay rural, natay urban. We also have physical and virtual. Say for example, sa rural, how about the population? Not many, ang tao, not many people. In urban, lots of people. So ang ilang similarities, people. No? So that is an example sa inyo ang activity for week 4. Okay, so more discussions after a short break. This is Astral Academy Cyber School.
Tayo na buksan ang mga radyo, lina at matuto sa mga aral sa mundo. Tayo na tumutok na sa TV, mag-aral ng maigi to get the lessons easily. It's tangkop time. We learn all things, it's very fine, masaya. Tutok na
And we are back, still here in Astral Academy Cyber School. Okay,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ma'am Sherry. To our senior high school learners, please check the second attendance marker on the top of your screen.
Okay, so SHS stars, no, we hope that the lessons we imparted to you in DIAS and in community engagement, no, this afternoon will be of great help, especially, of course, in your understanding about counseling and about community.
Communities.
So that can be of help, of course, sa inyong future career.
Okay, so if you have questions or comments about the topics, please write it down below. Okay, so this has been your Mom City Badria Datodakula from Tangub City National High School.
And I'm your mom, Sherry May S. Epong Steele from Tangub City National High School. Keep safe, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.